Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nasir Ahmed and today we're doing something a little different. Welcome to our deep dive into the fascinating world of money and psychology. We all think we're rational when it comes to our finances, right? We see a good deal, we take it. We need to save, we cut back. But the truth is our brains are wired in some pretty weird ways that can seriously mess with our money. It's not always about the spreadsheets and the numbers. A huge part of financial success, or failure, comes down to what's happening between our ears. Today, we'll explore how our financial decisions are influenced by various psychological factors. We're talking about those hidden biases, the emotional triggers, and even the societal pressures that make us spend, save, invest, or even hoard money in ways that sometimes make absolutely no sense when you look at them objectively. Think about the last time you bought something you didn't really need, or held on to a losing stock way too long, hoping it would turn around. Chances are psychology played a bigger role than you realize. So, if you've ever wondered why you make certain financial choices, or why you can't seem to stick to a budget despite your best intentions, then this video is for you. We're going to break down some of the most common mental traps and emotional pitfalls that affect our financial well-being. By understanding these, the goal is simple: to help you get a better handle on your own financial behavior, make smarter decisions, and ultimately build more wealth and security. Stick around, because this is some seriously valuable stuff. So let's kick things off with the big two: fear and greed. These are probably the most powerful emotions that drive financial markets and, more importantly, your personal financial decisions. When the market is booming and everyone's talking about how much money they're making, that fear of missing out, FOMO kicks in hard. Greed takes over. You see a stock skyrocketing and you jump in, often at the peak without doing your due diligence because you just want a piece of that action. You're not thinking logically, you're thinking about getting rich quick, and that's a dangerous game, let me tell you. Then there's the flip side, fear. When the market tanks or you hear bad news, panic sets in. People start selling everything, often at a huge loss because they're terrified of losing even more. This is where you see massive sell-offs, sometimes based on pure emotion rather than fundamentals. This fear can also manifest as extreme risk avoidance, where you're so scared of losing money that you keep all your cash stuffed under a mattress, metaphorically speaking, earning basically nothing and getting eaten away by inflation. It feels safe, but in the long run, it can be just as damaging as taking on too much speculative risk. And this ties directly into something called loss aversion. Psychologically, the pain of a loss is felt about twice as powerfully as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. This is huge. It explains why people hold on to losing investments for way too long, hoping they'll come back just to avoid crystallizing that loss, even if all signs point to it being a bad investment. It also explains why some people are hesitant to spend money, even on things that could genuinely improve their well-being or create positive experiences, because the pain of seeing their bank balance decrease even slightly outweighs the potential benefit. Understanding this emotional tug-of-war is the first step to not letting it control your bank account. Alright, next up, let's talk about cognitive biases. These are basically systematic patterns of deviation from norm or rationality in judgment. In simpler terms, they're like little glitches in our brain software that make us think and act irrationally, especially with money. First on the list is anchoring. This is where we rely too heavily on the first piece of information offered when making decisions. For example, if you see a house listed for $500,000, that price becomes an anchor in your mind, even if it's wildly overpriced. Subsequent negotiations or offers will often revolve around that initial anchor rather than the true market value. Car salesmen are masters at this, starting with a super high MSRP. Then we have mental accounting. This is a fascinating one. It's where we treat money differently, depending on where it came from or what we intend to use it for. Think about it. A $100 tax refund might feel like free money that you're happy to splurge on something frivolous. But if you had to earn that same $100 through an extra few hours of hard work, you'd probably be much more careful with how you spend it. It's all still $100, but we mentally categorize it differently. This can lead to overspending windfall money or being overly cautious with earned money, even when the financial impact is identical. It's like having different mental buckets for your cash, and not all buckets are treated equally. And finally, let's not forget the sunk cost fallacy. This is a killer. It's our tendency to continue a behavior or endeavor as a result of previously invested resources, time, money, or effort, even if it's clearly not a good idea anymore. You've probably seen this. Someone keeps pouring money into a failing business because they've already invested so much. Or maybe you've sat through a terrible movie just because you paid for the ticket. With investments, this means holding on to a stock that's consistently underperforming just because you've already lost money on it, hoping it will magically recover your initial investment. Recognizing these biases is key to overriding them and making more logical financial choices. Chapter 3. Now let's shift gears and talk about something we can all relate to: social and cultural pressure. It's a massive driver of financial behavior, often in ways we don't even consciously realize. The whole keeping up with the Joneses phenomenon is a perfect example. We see our neighbors, friends, or even people on social media flaunting new cars, fancy vacations, or expensive gadgets, and there's this internal pressure to match that lifestyle. This desire for status and the constant comparison can lead to some seriously destructive financial habits like overspending, accumulating debt on credit cards, and living beyond our means just to project an image of success. This isn't just about individual jealousy, it's deeply ingrained. Many societies place a high value on visible signs of wealth as indicators of success and status. So that new iPhone or designer bag isn't just a product, it's a signal. The problem is, often the people we're trying to impress are also trying to impress us, and everyone ends up in a cycle of conspicuous